This is a Headgum podcast.
Hello and welcome to Perfect Person, the show where I'm perfect and you're a person. This morning, I had a little espresso and a chocolate donut to stay.
Ooh.
And I didn't even look at my phone when I had it.
Enlightened.
I went to a coffee shop and I sort of had a little moment where I was sipping my little thing and having a little thing. It was a nice little breakfast set where it made me feel very European.
That's beautiful.
That is amazing.
That reminds me of my favorite of your TikTok sounds. I get a little treat.
Oh, yeah. It's just that whiny, too.
It makes me laugh so hard every time I hear it. I keep wanting to make videos of it.
Oh, my goodness. Well, the voices you're hearing are Katherine Dudas and Lizzy Pace, two of my nearest and dearest friends who host a show called HBO LAX.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Podcasters.
I know,
Yes.
fellow podcasters. It's a pleasure to have you here in the studio.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited to be here. Lizzy was just saying, she was like, yeah, thank you to Katherine for just emailing Miles and being like, hey, you said you wanted us on the pod.
Well, I did.
Yeah, you
I
did
said
say it.
I already wanted you on the pod. And then you emailed me. I was like, oh yeah, of course.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe Katherine. You're such a
Lizzy's like,
go-getter. I'm like, oh,
So
you're following up on that. Okay, I see.
It's kind
that's
of like
good.
when people ask you for money and they're like, remember that one time you said, but it's like you never did. And they're like,
Yeah.
I remember you said that you wanted to donate to my.
Well, I also see you guys like all the time.
That's true, yes.
So it's
Yeah.
not like
I'm always-
it's not a crazy ask.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I'm
s-
responsible for you having your baby, so I feel like having a guest on the podcast.
Well, so that's right, and I think it's as good a time as any to address this.
Yeah.
But I met Lizzy moments before I met my lovely wife Sarah at the same party. And on that fateful evening, Sarah and I got along. Lizzy, wasted, walked up to me and said, "Oh yeah, you trying to be like what? You want to be an actor or something?" I was like, I don't know. I guess like not really.
I wish this was an exaggeration.
No, it wasn't.
I know this is how I sound.
It truly wasn't. And then she looked at me and went, "I don't trust you." As me and Sarah were
That's
flirting.
friendship.
So,
That's friendship.
You're welcome
Yeah.
for your baby.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting us on.
So that's why Lizzy is responsible. And then
I trust you now.
Exactly, right. And then Katherine, of course, when Sarah and I were trying to get pregnant,
Yeah.
Katherine came over, and Katherine, I would say, is our witchiest friend.
Thank you so much.
And
I am.
Katherine came over and did a little seance, and then almost immediately, we became pregnant. And
Yeah.
Katherine does believe that she summoned our child into
Yeah,
existence.
it's interesting because, Miles and I have this really fun dynamic where I believe wholeheartedly in every spiritual thing. And
No, I would say
and
everything.
Extremely
that's true.
gullible.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true. I don't ask follow-up questions. So yeah.
Who needs them?
Yeah. Like one time I babysat a kid who told me about their past life and you guys were having a party.
yeah.
And so right afterwards I came to the party and I walked into the house and I'm like, we all have been here before and we'll all be here again.
Oh, yes.
And Miles is like, you're like, because I was like, long story short, the kid told me that they had a past life. They were 3 years old and they were like, I died in Africa. My other mom got shot in front of me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then, so when I told everyone this at the party, Miles was like, did you tell the parent that? I was like, no, it's just a past life. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, you told you told this story recently at a party, and we're all sitting around, and Katherine goes, "Well, yeah, he said that he died in Africa, and his mother was shot in front of him." And our friend Mike goes, "Well, what part of Africa? Surely someone who's from Africa, in quotes,
Yeah, they probably
would
It's
know
not a country.
a
It's
more
a continent.
localized."
Yeah.
And she was like,
The
"You were just like,
follow-up question.
yeah, that's a good point."
Okay, no follow-up questions. I'm like, of course, I honor your experience.
I
It was
believe
Africa. Oh my God, you're so right. And she was a white the kid was white. So it just, that's not
my
good.
Yeah.
It's a very white person just thinking Africa's a country. Oh, yeah.
Africa. That's so
And I'm
funny.
like, so Sarah asked, I will say, Sarah, who your wife is also a bit of a skeptic, did ask me to do the spell. And I tell everyone that. I'm like, she asked, I did not just come over. And so
You're not giving unconsented spells.
No. Yeah, you have to.
And I believe, and I don't know the terminology, but that would be a hex.
I would. that would be a curse.
A curse.
Yeah. A curse on your family. Yeah.
Well, she may not be the witchiest of our friends, but Sarah and I, a year before
Yes,
You're right.
Sarah and Miles met,
I love
We
this.
walked around Echo Park Lake and we came up with all the qualities of the men we deserve.
Oh,
And
wow.
we listed them out and we sent them to ourselves in an email. And guess what? 1 exact year later, Sarah met Miles.
That is
And
pretty
look,
crazy.
I did meet someone, and it wasn't that one.
But it taught you lessons.
But it helped my list, and
Yes.
I later met the man I deserved.
It did.
There you go.
I love this.
But
Lizzy, that's beautiful.
Sarah and I manifested Miles.
Yes.
I know. You summoned me.
Jake.
You did. This is the thing. It's all, guys. It's really. I know it's all on TikTok
Send
now.
it in an email.
Send it in an email. Put it in writing.
Put it in writing and be specific.
In writing typed
Yes.
onto
If you
Google.
want, you got to
Be
think
specific.
of everything, because if you don't write must love dogs, they won't like dogs.
Yes.
And they will
Bingo.
treat them like it's an alien.
When you're summoning your ideal person, you gotta make sure that it's all there.
Because you don't want to. Yes,
Be
and
specific.
I think that's beautiful that you said that. Like, even though it wasn't the one, it helped your list. So I think
I know.
I love that.
There were certain things I didn't remember to put on there, and now they're on there.
That's a lesson.
Yes.
And with Sarah and the spell, I had her repot a plant. I looked this up on YouTube, by the way. I didn't come up with it.
This is obviously ancient magic.
He's always like, "Well, I learned that on YouTube."
Yeah.
It's
That's
all
true.
from YouTube.
But it was only because I asked Sarah. I told Sarah to like, okay, you have to like repot the plant. And I told
Yeah.
Sarah, because Sarah's a very funny person. Sometimes she's like, I want her to be, let's get the sincerity. Like, let's just genuinely tell me out loud, like, what do you want? What do you hope for your child? What do you want them to be like? So I had her
Yeah.
just like talk about that. And a month later, she was fucking pregnant. And guess what, guys? And then the baby's born with my sun and my moon, a Capricorn sun.
Uh-oh. Coincidence, fuckers?
Fuckers.
I think not. Coincidence,
I impregnated
fuckers?
Sarah.
Yeah, that's correct.
And me and Miles and Sarah all made a baby together.
That's right.
And I remember because the due date was getting closer and closer to my birthday. And I'm like, it's gonna be my fucking birthday. But it was 2 days before, and he's a Capricorn sun, Cancer moon,
right.
and a Capricorn rising. That baby's gonna be rich.
That's
I
a rich
certainly
baby.
hope so.
Yeah.
That's so lucky.
Now, you both have a show called HBO LAX. Do you want to tell the audience about that
Yes,
show
we
before we get to the
do.
calls? Because the phones are ringing off the damn hook,
Oh,
and we
I
have
can't.
to
I
get
know.
to
I
it.
can barely hear myself. The fucking phone.
I know.
So many. So many phones everywhere. Isn't it amazing?
I like that you giggled like just as much as if it's the first time you've
I love
yeah,
it.
it's
the
so
fart.
fun.
The fart sound is really
it's
important
timeless.
to me.
Fart jokes. They're
yes.
timeless. I agree.
HBO LAX is a show where we recap. We're hot people who recap TV episodes.
it's like a book club.
It's a
but
book
for
club.
TV shows.
Yes.
We don't
Like a book
read.
club
We
for
are
TV.
watching
Yes.
television shows.
Yes, for hot people who don't read. Yeah.
As HBO shows, guess what? HBO said,
Yeah.
"Fuck you.
Yeah.
We're not
We're
HBO
taking
anymore."
all these shows
so
off. We're no longer
Big-
HBO. We're
yes.
Max. And so
Yes.
now you are the only HBO
we are
Max.
HBO now.
Now we are HBO. Yeah,
We've done House of the Dragon.
Yes,
we've
we've done a
done
lot.
White Lotus. We did Succession.
That's right.
The Last of Us.
on our Patreon, Yellow Jackets.
That's right.
Yellow Jackets. We're doing Severance on
On a Patreon, which
now.
is my favorite fucking show of all time. If you
Severance?
I'm looking at the
So
camera now,
good, by the
guys.
way.
Also, can I quickly also would like to plug my film?
Yeah, plug your film.
I just thought because I also have a film. It's called Juniper. It's on Showtime and Paramount Plus, and it's
Yeah.
a lovely little indie film.
And I
That's
heard
right.
you have maybe a tattoo related to it.
I do.
Oh, yeah, you have a new tattoo.
I do have an. I'll show it to you
Tattoo
now,
reveal.
Mom. I hope my mom doesn't watch this.
Tattoo
She's gonna
reveal.
watch.
My mom doesn't know.
Oh, that's so great. I love that.
Juniper brand.
It's a Juniper brand.
Catherine's
It's my
film
first
is wonderful, by the
one.
way.
Thank you so much.
I love your movie.
Thank you. You are so gracious and helpful with notes. I remember sending you a cut, and I was like, I need Miles's notes on this. Especially
That's
Miles
very
is an
sweet.
amazing editor too. So I was like, just tell me.
That's
You gave me
very
amazing
sweet.
notes. It was really helpful to hear your. But yeah, it was. Yeah. So it's yeah.
Showtime?
Showtime. Paramount Plus. It's funny and sad. And a little gay. Also, Lizzy has an amazing other podcast called Game of Roses.
Game of
thank you.
Roses
Thank
that
you,
many
Pat.
people probably
Oh my
know.
gosh. Yes.
That is
That's-
about The Bachelor and expanding the Bachelor universe now. We're doing Love is Blind. We're
Yes.
doing all the dating games now.
Nice.
Guys.
Guess
If you
what?
like reality dating shows, you're going to love Game of Roses.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the phone's ringing up the hook, and
Ooh,
we've
I'm
got to
excited.
get to the callers here. But before we do, if you like the show, consider rating and subscribing on YouTube, on
Yes.
Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. And if you love the show, consider joining us on Patreon, where we have bonus episodes every single Friday, as well as extended ad-free versions of the show, including this one, where we did a cold open about all sorts of things about my lovely little baby. And it's a real banger and a treat. So go head over to the Patreon. And also we have merch. We launched merch recently, and I'm very proud of it and excited about it. You can go to the links down in the description to go check out the merch and wear the Perfect Person uniform so you can be perfect every day.
So good. I can't wait to get the green one. Yeah.
Day.
Well, without further ado, let's get to the phone lines. Okay, we've got a lovely little message here from someone that is wondering about a little bit of drama with their boyfriend.
Hi, Miles. So I found a semi-concerning note on my boyfriend's bed on my birthday, and I just kind of don't know what to do about it or whether I should be upset or not. Please help.
A concerning note on her boyfriend's bed?
What was the note?
What does that mean?
Well, it's sort of unclear, so we're going to have to give it a little call here. I'm wondering if it was a note from a lover.
My mind is going in a million different directions.
It might be a lover, or it might be like he wrote a note to 911. Dear 911,
Yeah.
I am a murderer.
that would be a concerning
I
note.
know. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Hi, thanks for calling Perfect Person.
Hi. This is crazy.
Well, welcome to the show. I'm here with HBO LAX, Katherine, Dudas, and Lizzy Pace.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
So we heard that there was a concerning note on your boyfriend's bed. Now I'm going to need to know what you're talking about.
Okay. So, some background, I guess, that my boyfriend loves to journal. That's like his thing, you know?
That's healthy.
So he journals a lot, and he tends to journal in the form of like letters, either like expressing them to himself or like sometimes to other people. So if he's like upset about something, he'll kind of like write a letter, not give it to them or anything, but that's just that's like the format, right?
So it'll be like a Dear Subway sandwich employee. I don't like that you messed up my lunch.
Absolutely. My sandwich was 11 inches long.
Yeah, not 12. Got it. Okay.
A couple days before my birthday, we were kind of discussing love languages, and we had talked about how I love notes. I like getting written letters. I like when I get left a little note.
That seems to match up.
And so on my birthday, I go up to the bedroom to grab a charger, I think, something. And there's a note on my pillow. There's a piece of paper. And I was like, oh, my God. He listened. He did it. And then I start reading the note, and it is very obvious that it is not for me. And
who is it for?
Yeah.
Right. So it's written in that format that I think it was a journal entry that I was not intended to see.
That he put on your pillow.
It was on your pillow?
It was on my pillow, which was the questionable part.
Yeah.
But it didn't have like a name or anything, but it was just kind of like sometimes I still think about you. Sometimes like you'll pop up in my dreams, and I don't think it's like an I love you, like romantic thing. It's just kind of, I wonder what you're doing.
Oh, why would he leave that out?
Dump his ass.
Okay, well, easy.
I found this letter on my birthday.
Oh, that's horrible.
Wait, okay. Did you talk to him about it?
No. He could tell, like, when I came downstairs, I was kind of upset. But I was like, I don't really know how to go about that. Because it was like, I don't know that he necessarily did something wrong.
There is sort of a because I'm sure that everyone has written things in their journal that they don't necessarily need to share with their partner.
Yeah.
It is weird and almost feels like self-sabotagey that it was left on your pillow. Like that almost feels like a subconscious thing that he wanted you to find out about.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong about that, but like, has that ever happened before where he's like leaving, and was it in a notebook or was it tear it out?
Yeah.
It was just one piece of paper torn out.
So
and it wasn't.
Did he tear out the wrong one?
Yeah, I was going to say, did he accidentally tear it? Yeah, because also this can't be about you because obviously, like this,
I still think about you.
I still think about you. It's like, you bitch, you better be thinking about me.
I'm right here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh,
wait, why did you not bring it up with him?
Yeah.
I think part of it was like, he didn't necessarily do anything wrong. And so part of my brain, I think, was like, is it worth bringing this up? Because I don't know how he'll react. So is it worth like causing an issue, or like, can I get over it?
Yes. No. Okay. So I just had therapy the other day. So I totally relate to this feeling of being a little nervous about it seems like you don't like making waves, a little bit of a people pleasing, a little bit of his needs are more important than mine, maybe not consciously, but a little more subconsciously. But I would reckon to say that if this is making you, even if this just made you feel a little weird, then I even think it's worth bringing up. Like I think
it's definitely worth bringing up.
It's 100%.
I don't think it's necessarily. It depends so much on the situation, because I don't think it's necessarily a full on deal. How long have you been dating this person?
Good question.
About 8 months now, I think.
Okay,
that's a good amount of time.
That's a good amount of time. I think that's sort of like, it's not like this is it. Okay, you wrote this letter. You're thinking about someone in. You said also the quotes of it were like, I am thinking about you not in a love way, but just in a wonder what you're doing way. Like 8 months into a relationship, that's not necessarily like that crazy. Would I want to read that about my partner's thought? No, absolutely not.
You need some clarifying. Well, I feel like you need things to be clarified. You need to know, hey, dude, what did you mean to leave?
Why did you leave this on my pillow? Why did you do any of this?
It's not like you went through his journal.
Exactly. No, you did nothing wrong. Like you obviously not. And you bringing this up is extremely valid. And also, it also makes sense since you just told him, you're like, hey, my love language is notes. You see a note on your pillow. If I were him, I would be like, oh shit. Like if he did it on accident, it'd be weird if he did it on purpose and he's just like waiting. That feels
He
weird.
definitely
if
did
he
not.
did it, he can't have done it on purpose.
Oh boy.
No. How's the relationship? Like, is this indicative?
It's really good.
And you feel like you can normally bring up things that bother you, but just not this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my thing is, if it feels like something I can inevitably get over, I tend to not bring it up. But if it's something that like to my core bothers me, then I'll bring it up.
Yeah, you bring it all up.
It doesn't need to bother you to your core to bring it up. I bring it up, whatever it is.
Okay.
Me and Sarah have a big, like, we are over communicators, which, like, if something bothers us, we are bringing it up, even if it's a small thing. It's just like, hey, like, small note, here's this one thing.
Yes, you guys are really good at, yours very inspirational.
Well, thank you very much. I think it's also, like, it prevents resentment entirely. Like, there's never a situation where I am stewing on something that I haven't brought up, because I just am like, let me just get it out there. And then, by the way, sometimes I've been like, hey, this is bothering me. And Sarah's like, oh, that's kind of weird because I don't think it should bother you because of this or whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Like that's maybe me feeling like anxious about something else that has nothing to do with you.
But most importantly, you both feel so safe. You feel so safe to just be like, hey, little note. Like I was in a relationship recently that I could, I had a toxic quality and I didn't feel like I was really, every time I was bringing up something, I would reherse it in my head. I feel like that's a bad.
No, because you want to be able to, you want to be able to be open.
Feel safe,
Especially like, because it's such a, by the way, if you're writing a journal entry that's like a really private thought, that's like, look, we all have private thoughts that don't necessarily need to be shared. What a weird move to like tear it out and leave it on your pillow. It's sloppy work, to say the least.
And if it seems like if you're in an 8-month relationship, it's going well, I'm sure he obviously cares about you. Like I feel like if this is a partner that's worth your time, he would be like, oh my gosh, please bring up things that are making you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
you
no
want
one should
that
ever make you
person.
feel bad with bringing something up.
Yeah.
That
Fear to bring it up is worrying me a little. I'm like, you wanna be able to feel like you can talk to your partner about anything.
This could be a good situation,
even if it's petty.
Yes,
even if it's petty.
petty.
Because sometimes, by the way, I brought up petty things to Sarah, and over the course of me bringing it up, I'm like, okay, I didn't need to
hearing yourself,
hearing myself say this and seeing your reaction. I actually didn't need to bring it up, and it's me that's wrong.
right.
Like, and
I've done that so many times.
Yeah, and that's okay too. Like,
fine.
but to me, the communication part of it's the most important. Even if you're communicating something that's like, hey, I know that this is like a dumb thought to have, but it's what I'm feeling right this moment, because you just need to feel support from your partner.
Yes.
And I would say you just got to bring it up. Like, it's possible that he's just thinking about someone, I don't even know.
Yeah, it could be like a cousin.
Was it like a lovely?
He's like, not romantic.
Hey, by the way, not in a love way.
Which is important when talking to a cousin.
Hey, dear cousin, I think about where you're up to.
Yes.
Do you have a hunch, by the way, who it might be about?
Ooh.
I kind of do. So my boyfriend's a musician, and there are a couple songs that he he doesn't write a lot of like love songs, but the ones that he have all been about the same like longest relationship he had in like high school.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Gunshot.
So,
it's probably about him.
got it. So
But
yeah, so he had a long relationship about a high school. You got to just bring it up.
Yeah, you gotta bring that up because that would make me feel.
Wacky.
Well, one, I would be like, where's my love song?
Yeah, by the way,
2 months
where
in.
is the song about me?
Yeah, 2 months in, I'd be like, oh, so
Right.
funny. I would write a poem about myself, leave it on his bed.
Yeah,
Be like, these are interesting lyrics you
yeah,
could use.
maybe you could
Isn't this what I
sing to
signed
me.
up for?
Yeah.
Like, to be
This is-
serenaded.
Yes.
no,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I think my like worry about bringing it up was that I didn't want him to think that I was like intentionally snooping.
No,
I think
this
that
was
was
on,
my fear.
you weren't snooping.
You're
I'll tell you
not
right now.
snooping.
This was on your. This was like less than snooping.
This is
was
yes.
on
this
your
is being
pillow.
attacked.
Yeah, you were sent.
Punched in the
Right,
face.
Yeah.
He sent you a letter.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
was the wrong one.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. Yes. So I.
He mailed it to me.
Yeah.
kind of did. It was on
it's
your
like,
pillow.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
So,
no.
thank you for calling in, but I think you just got to talk to your
Yeah.
boyfriend. Don't ever, and also like to anybody out there, you got to communicate everything.
Yeah, you do.
I find that like some
Right.
couples don't communicate, and that's like it. Whenever something sinister happens, you know, like in a movie, it's like these couples are married for years and they cheat, or there's some horrible thing or whatever. I'm just like, I think that a lot of this can be prevented by just communicating directly about exactly what it is that
Checking
you're
in.
feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
I recommend a weekly check-in.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like
I
that.
do that with my partner, and it's great. And then
Weekly
you're just
check-in. How
like,
we doing?
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. No, I think that's
That could
really
be
nice.
That could be fun. A little wine night and
Yeah.
Talking.
Just checking in, of course. Yeah, I
A
love
wine and
that.
chats. I'm loving that. Yeah, Sarah and I
Nice little
sometimes go
ritual.
small note. Small note.
I love
Small
it.
note.
And
We
you
go,
guys
hey,
are very funny.
little note.
Yeah.
And then whoever's being given the note will go, oh no, like a small note. And then we kind of just will be
It's
like,
very
here's one thing, but it's not a big deal. But it's just, this is one thing.
I
But I
love
think that,
it.
yeah, you just got to communicate and try to make it as fun as possible. And also realize that, like, yeah, you need to be validated.
Yes.
Whatever you're feeling is also cool. But as long as you bring it up in a chill, calm, cool way,
Yeah.
hey, this is something I saw. It's bothering me. That's okay. What is your experience?
Yeah.
And I think we're all gravy, baby.
Yeah.
But thank you for calling
Good
in.
luck.
Good luck on this. And
It's nice meeting you.
you're the best. Nice to meet you.
You're perfect.
Bye. You're perfect.
You're perfect.
thank
Now
you
you're a
guys
perfect
so
person.
much.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
I've got a little baby, and I'm always looking for fun little creative projects for him to enjoy. And by him, I mean me also. I want a toy that daddy can play with, and that's why I turned to KiwiCo, because KiwiCo is a super cool subscription box for your kids that offers multiple lines of fun and enriching projects that are designed to spark creativity, innovation, and learning. It can be hard to find creative ways to keep your kids busy, challenged, and off their screens, but KiwiCo does the legwork for you so you can spend quality time tackling projects together. Each toy was designed for like a different developmental milestone. Some of them were like, he's going to be aware that this toy is going to roll around, and that's good for his brain, and that is making him as smart as can be. His favorites are the little wobbly bobbly thing that sits on the ground, and the thing that he spins, and a little marble goes click, 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 click. KiwiCo has developed over 2,000 projects in STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Redefine play with KiwiCo right now. Get 50% off your first month. Crates start at just $14 per month, plus free shipping on any crate line at KiwiCo.com. Promo code PerfectPerson. That's promo code PerfectPerson at KiwiCo.com. I use these toys with my little baby all the time, and so should you, daddies and mommies. I'm a fancy guy. I like a level of fanciness in my home, especially when it comes to things that I am using. Coterie diapers are the ones I turn to because they're fancy and they're absorbent, actually, for my little baby. I've been using Coterie diapers since the jump, since my little guy came home, and you know that Sarah and I like a little luxury product, and I gotta say, these feel luxury to me and to my baby's bum. Coterie diapers are designed for better sleep and have given me at least a few extra hours every single morning because we tried all the different diapers and he would always wake up just a little bit early with the other ones. And I gotta say, the Coterie diapers, they last. They feel like a fancy little diaper for my fancy little boy. They have up to 70% more liquid capacity and absorb up to 4 times faster by moving liquids away from the skin within 15 seconds, keeping your baby drier than the leading diaper brands. Coterie products are fragrance-free, hypoallergenic, and made with responsibly sourced plant-based materials, all while feeling as soft as cashmere on your baby's bottom. We've been using their diapers since the jump, and we use their freaking wipes as well. And the wipes have this little clasp that makes me feel like a fancy man that has his life together. It's time you use a better diaper, and right now Coterie is partnering with my podcast to offer you 20% off your first subscription order plus free shipping at Coterie.com, promo code PerfectPerson. That's Coterie, spelled Coterie.com, promo code PerfectPerson for 20% off your first subscription order and free shipping. Coterie.com, promo code PerfectPerson. Woo!
Oh, that was so fun. Oh.
What? We're changing lives.
I don't know what happened to us. We are changing lives.
I feel great. I feel like, let's do another one.
I know. And hey, we're about to.
Oh, yay.
Okay, here we go. This is someone wondering if they were in the wrong about a friendship breakup.
Ooh. Hi, besties. So I broke up with my best friend of like 15 years because she didn't go to my graduation party, which was 2 years late, and I need to know if I'm being a bitch. Please call me back. This has been weighing so heavy on my head, and I need help. Thank you.
Wow. So a big friendship. Well, first of all, have you ever had big friendship fallouts where you're no longer friends with people that you were friends with for a long time?
Yeah.
Only like one.
Only one? And did you have because this actually comes up a lot. And I think that female friendships and male friendships are different in that way. Where like I have friends that I
like
just realized that
end.
Well, no, well, like I have friendships
dramatic ending.
Where I have friends that I'm just like, oh, I actually don't like you, and then I just don't see them anymore.
Right, it's more of a fade out. I think with female friendships, there's an intensity. I say this all the time, but women were raised just since we were 2 to be so close, like be emotionally have emotional relationships with our female friendships. I don't think guys are necessarily raised in that same way, which is why I think we see such a difference between male and female friendships. I think it's just because we're just like from the second we're 2, we're like, hey, how are you feeling? Are you mad at me? And like, and it's not, this is not inherent. This is like a nurture thing.
Again, like I feel very lucky that I think my male friendships are typically like not the typical.
No, you have
we're
great male
sharers, and especially in our community, there's a lot of men that are like very comfortable sharing.
Yes,
but I think that's not necessarily the norm. And a lot of dudes feel
not a lot of sports fans in our friend group.
No, not really. I've often said this before, but I think that sports. And this is such a maybe base statement, but like I think that sports for a lot of men who don't typically have the ability to share can be it's like a podcast. It's a long experience where you get to sit there and watch it, and then it's like actually work's been really tough. And it's like new play.
Yeah,
like it's like I think that sometimes that takes the onus off of men who might have trouble communicating to be able to communicate in the long form.
And I think that's great.
Building community.
Yes. I think it's so I think, yes, in terms of this, I do think there can be more dramatic endings to female friendships because we feel this thing. Now, I will say, I personally have a philosophy where I do not treat my friendships as I would treat a partner.
Yeah, definitely
I do not put the same expectations on
and that's
my
a trap
friendships.
Sometimes.
I think some people, yes.
Especially like when 2 single people become, it's like, oh, like, well, you didn't do, and it's like, oh no, like friendship is elective.
Yes.
You don't have to do anything for your friends. You should. There are lots of things you should do for your friends. You should be there for them, but it is inherently like an elective thing.
I'm on the like if you don't talk to, like I have friends who, if I don't talk to them for 2 weeks, it's like no big deal. We just catch up when we do. And I think sometimes people get into like, oh, I haven't heard from you, and like, and I think that can get
it's like, what do you
toxic.
mean? We're both like individuals in the world.
And like I think I like to make friends feel safe in that way. It's like they can forget to text me back, and it's okay. Like text me whenever you can.
And they can service different aspects of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, for me, I think there are certain events where I might feel that, like a wedding.
Someone you mean somebody not showing up to your wedding?
Somebody not showing up to your wedding.
That would be a big deal.
Unless there's, they have extenuating circumstances or something. And we don't really know what is in this situation.
And we're about to find out.
Oh, there's more details.
We're calling.
Oh, we're calling. Oh, I love it.
Oh, we call. Okay.
We call everyone.
Oh, gotcha.
No.
Hello. You called perfect person. You called perfect person. I'm here to solve your life. I'm here with HBO LAX.
Hello.
Oh my
help.
Here to help.
They are here to help.
I'm gonna throw up.
No, don't throw up.
I love this.
Be careful.
Okay, I'll try.
So now I'm going to need a couple more details because you are sort of wondering if you were maybe in the wrong about a big friendship breakup.
Basically, I've been best friends with this girl since I was for like 15 years. Like we met in second grade. I'm 22 now. And we were best friends. She was there for me through everything. And I almost didn't graduate high school. I struggled a lot with like mental health stuff. And then when I did graduate, my parents were going through a divorce, so there was not a graduation party happening.
Gotcha.
Which is fine. But my mom decided to throw me like this huge surprise graduation party last summer. And she invited all my friends. And so my best friend, can we give her a name?
Susanna.
Love it.
So Susanna, she like has been kind of distant. She's living in her college town. Like she met a lot of new friends, and I was like so happy for her. But I kind of reached out and I was like, hey, like I feel like I don't know what's going on in your life a lot anymore. Like I would love to get together sometime. And she just kind of was like, yeah, I'm just like working on my other friendships right now.
Oh, okay. That's a little cold.
That's hurtful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was for sure. Yeah, no. So she was like spending her time between her college town and the town that we grew up in. So she was like home on and off for the summer. And I was like, whenever you're home, just hit me up because I'm around. So just like whatever you need, like whenever you want to hang out in your home. And she kind of never did. And so then the graduation party came. My mom invited her and she didn't come.
Did she RSVP?
Did she RSVP?
Did she say why?
Did you ever ask her if she was coming or anything like that?
So I didn't know about it. It was a surprise.
Oh, got it.
So my mom invited her. And she didn't answer my mom at first. And then my mom texted her again like a week before and was like, hey, are you coming? Also, her college is like an hour drive away.
Close.
Yeah.
My mom was like, are you coming? And she was like, no, like my mom's coming up to visit like the day before. And then I have work the day after.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, but so you're free on the day though.
Mm-hmm.
And like I haven't seen you in a while and you know that I've been feeling like you've been distant, whatever. So I was not happy. And I did something bad.
I did something bad, but it felt so good.
She texted me, and I didn't lie to her and tell her that I wasn't upset, but I just was like, that kind of sucks, whatever. I forget what she said to me, but she said something, and I screenshotted it. You guys, like to my friends, and I sent it to her.
Classic.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
classic.
you screenshotted it and then sent it to her?
Right, so now she knew that you
were
were
about to
sending
sending
it
it,
to
yeah.
other people.
Okay.
What was
Yeah, it
her
was a text-
response?
So she texted me on the day of the graduation party and was like, how was your surprise party? Like, so sad I wasn't there.
Okay.
And I screenshotted it and I sent it to her.
So her
like a
message,
fool.
her message was just, so sorry I wasn't there.
Right. And were you sending it to your other friends being like, oh my gosh, look.
Yeah, was there a comment
Yeah,
with the screenshot?
Came up to me, like everybody knows, like we've like inseparable, like every single day together, usually, like when she's not at school. And so everyone was coming up to me at the graduation party and was like, "Where's?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Susanna.
Okay, let's bleep it. Rob, can you raise the sequence here?
Susanna. We're all like Susanna.
So got it. So you were like, I don't know where this person is, and you screenshotted it. Did you send another message after the screenshot accidentally got leaked?
So I said, "LOL." Honestly, I was sending it to my mom. She was really upset you weren't there.
Honestly, good cover.
Yeah, I would do that too.
That's actually pretty. Like,
That's smart.
I would do that too.
I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, how did that happen?" Like I'm not 82. I know an iPhone. She was like, "Yeah, I was upset I wasn't there too. Like I explained to your mom why I couldn't go." And I just kind of was like, it just felt like you could have made an effort to be there and you didn't. And her mom is sick. See, this is why I'm like, am I being a bitch? Because her mom is sick, so she was like, well, my mom was coming up to visit, and I didn't want to cancel that. And I was like, well, you didn't have to cancel it. You still could have, like, her mom wasn't visiting on the day that my party was, and she has a room at her mom's house in the town that the party was in. So, like, her mom could have come and visited, and then they could have driven back, and she could have, like, slept. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
okay, so my initial impulse is, Sometimes I like to think about situations like this. Obviously, I want to take your side because you're calling the show and we're besties. But I think that sometimes it's important to think about a situation of when something like this happens, is the person acting in good faith or bad faith, and does that change it? The raw materials are you invited her to a surprise party. She kind of like couldn't make it because of a bunch of excuses. If I treat that behavior as acting in good faith, it's like, well, her mom is sick. She has a lot going on. It's an hour away. She couldn't make it, and that's a bummer, and we'll hang out next time. If you're treating it in bad faith, it's like she didn't come and she could have. She didn't do it specifically because she doesn't like you anymore and you're not going to be friends. I think that probably the answer lies somewhere in between both of those because that's how people are. My hunch is that you probably like a little bit could have been more understanding. The mom sick element of it is, I think, a little bit important that like,
that's the kind of bad part, I think.
you know, like it's not that what she did was so right. It's just that when you're in a situation where it's like, you've got a lot going on, your behavior gets a little bit of like, you soften the edges. It's like, okay, she didn't come to the party and that's unfortunate, but you get like a little bit of a rub down on the edges of how hard that would be. It's like, she's not trying to do that to spite you. It could be for a million reasons that maybe she is not really ready to talk to you about. And it also could just be that she was too tired to make the trip. And I think that because she's in a different place than you and you guys used to be close, like, if that was a newer friend, you would give them the excuse because they're the older friend. You can't give them the excuse.
Yeah,
I think probably you guys just need to go to freaking Benihana and have the shrimp.
Yes. Miles, I think that's so smart. And I also want to say that I feel like you were feeling, I think this only happened because there was like a buildup of you feeling not appreciated in the friendship. Or not feeling like there's an
text
effort.
about the new friends thing. Too.
Yes,
that part I think she could have done without.
Yes, I
like
agree.
A text telling someone you're focusing on other friendships is like, what the fuck? Shut up.
Exactly. And I think Miles, you're right in that. I think there's what's beautiful about friendships is that we can cut each other slack. Because
Slack alert.
Let's go make some slacks. But it's you. That's kind of the beauty is because they're not like the standards can be different. Now it's hard when it's someone that's so close that you've known forever. But I think if this is going to be it's already a lifelong friendship. If it's going to make stand the test of time, life is so weird and there's so many ups and downs. But it does feel. I want to validate that it does feel shitty to feel like a friend is pulling away. That is a very scary feeling.
I think also she does have. There's a little bit of a history of her being mean to me, and us just like, oh, that's Susanna. Like that's just how she is. Like I'll post a little TikTok, and she'll comment on it cringe.
Oof.
Yeah, that's shitty.
Or we'll be hanging out with a guy friend, and I was like, oh, I like this shirt. And she was like, oh, me too. And then I walk away, and I hear her whisper behind me, that's the ugliest fucking shirt.
That's literally Mean Girls.
Wait, that's okay. So
that's literally Regina George.
Well, here's a question for you. Do you want to be friends with Susanna? And I think that's another thing is friendships change. You guys could have been close for a long time, and now maybe you see each other every couple of years and you get coffee, and that's what it is. But it's hard to see a friendship transition. But you don't need to be friends in the same way that you always were friends. And sometimes being able to let that stuff shift makes your life easier versus trying to pull on and hold so tight that it breaks it anyway.
Yeah, you might be trying to keep the same dynamic as when you lived in the same place. Yeah. When people go away to school, sometimes, they're trying all these new things. They're going through a new stage of their life. Yeah. I think that you can, if you value this friendship, you can be friends in the long term. But I would maybe, spend some time and, check out the friendships that are closer to you or they're putting in the same effort as you. Mm-hmm. I really hate when people aren't putting in the same effort as me in friendships. And that was kind of one of my friendship breakups.
No, I totally get that.
You felt that someone else wasn't giving you the same juice that you were giving.
Yeah. And I do think there is there's an element of well, maybe that friend is just for this.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Right. And that's okay.
It's a hard thing to accept.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
Yes. But I think that can be, I think that is because maybe this doesn't even have to be a friendship breakup. Like Miles said, it could just be okay, we see each other at Christmas. Mm-hmm. We get drunk on one night a year at Christmas. And because I will say it's it is, I'm big on like having people in your life that like put you down.
Does not work for me at all.
Not because it's like you're already putting. It's hard enough. I'm putting myself down enough. I don't need someone else.
That's actually interesting because
Catherine's reading the comments.
And I read the comments.
There are people in my life that I felt like I have felt that way. I'm like, this person actually puts me down. Mm-hmm. I don't like it. And I have also opted that I don't need to tell that person that I'm no longer friends with them.
Yes. No. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Because you don't need to do an official breakup.
I don't need to. Like if this person puts you down and you want, it's like, oh yeah, well I know how I feel about this, so I don't need to communicate that to you because you don't seem to like me anyway.
Yes, it's a slow walk away.
You know, it's a slow walk away, and it's like having and I think that takes confidence because. Oftentimes it's like the reason you communicate something to someone is because you want something from them. Yeah. And it takes confidence to be able to be like, you're mean to me and I don't need anything from you anymore. I don't need your validation.
Closure comes from within.
There we go.
Recently been to therapy myself.
I know. Well, that's a little therapy
girlies.
Therapy girlies. But yeah. So how's this resonating? What do you think you're going to do?
I feel good about it. I guess, I don't know, because this happened last summer. And we haven't really spoken much since. We've sent like happy birthday messages to each other. Mm-hmm. And I just can't stop thinking about it because I just I don't know, she was such a huge part of my life, like literally for like
she might come back to you. The Notebook, like she might reevaluate, but you have to not give it so much energy, I think. Like it's hurting you.
Yeah.
And you have said, let me know when you're in town. You've kept your side of the street clean, and
you kept your side of the street clean.
That's what hurt me too, is because we did see each other once after I told her that I felt like we were distant. She came over, like laid by the pool, and she was telling me how she was moving, and she was really stressed about moving. And I was like, I'll like drive up and I'll help you move. Like I just am that kind of person. Like I'll drop everything to like drive an hour. She literally was like, oh, I might take you up on that. Like, thank you so much. And so it just felt like I was like extending all of these olive branches. And then when there was the one opportunity for her to show that she was there for me, she didn't show.
Yeah. It says a lot. I
said, maybe I'm putting too much pressure on that one situation. And it was like way more of a big deal to me. You realized that it was, and maybe that's not fair for her.
I think that's true. Like you were the one who experienced it. You had the graduation party. She was, and also it seems like she made an effort to be like, hey, she wasn't just like, what? It's just a graduation party. She was like, I'm sorry, I couldn't make it. She at least did you the courtesy of that. Yeah. I think you probably gotta do a low stakes hangout. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes that's like after you have a big falling out with someone, the onus is to be like, let's get coffee and really hash out everything. And it's like, maybe what you actually need is to go get Cold Stone Creamery and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Like something, you know what I mean? Something that's not going to put a ton of pressure on the situation. You don't have to feel nervous that you're like revving up to have this big confrontation. Mm-hmm. Try seeing if you can be friends out in the wild.
Yes.
Without needing to have the cord of friendship be in session.
Yes, I agree. And also, like, you deserve to have a friendship where you feel like there are so many people out there. Like and I just think like we're all different people with different people. And I think that's the beauty of having so many different friends is like you get to experience different sides of yourself. And like some friends, like I feel like there are things. Yeah. And so I think if this is someone, I don't think you need to feel bad about sticking up for yourself in that way. Yeah. I think it felt like the culmination of like, I feel like if it was just the party and she was being a really good friend, like you probably wouldn't have bothered you, but because it was like, it felt like this higher stakes thing. So, but I also don't think, but also it's not a reflection on you. Her like stepping away is not a reflection on you. Like you're clearly important. A good friend. Yeah. Like like you seem very funny and fun to like hang out with from this a couple minutes we've been talking. Yeah. So it's like,
you answered the phone and said,
yeah, you're so cute. Really so it's like, it's not a reflection on you. Yeah. Cause that's what I would think. If like someone doesn't want to hang, I'm like, oh my God, something's wrong with me. Yeah. Like they don't want to hang out. I'm not, but that's not, it's always people's own shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. I think it's all going to be okay. I would prescribe to you Cold Stone and a walk, and to understand that friendships sometimes change.
Yes.
Congrats on your graduation.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats on graduating.
Thanks so much. Thank you. I love the podcast so much. I'm such a big fan. I cannot believe you called me. I'm getting a tattoo in 30 minutes, and I don't have a plan.
A juniper branch.
Beaver. Get a big beaver chewing on a bunch of wood. Chewing on building a dam.
That's amazing.
And how do you know that's always wanted?
He knows
it's sort of a beaver in a beaver dam.
A beaver in a beaver dam.
And it says, oh, damn.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
And he's sort of like, maybe like also the wood is sort of a cigar in a way.
Oh.
He's kind of going, oh, damn.
I love that.
Oh my God, I love this.
I think you get a tattoo of that screenshot.
Yeah, get a tattoo with a screenshot.
Oh my God, stop.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh, good luck.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. Good luck. Enjoy your tattoo. And have a great day.
Have a great one.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Wow.
Wow, she's about to get a tattoo.
Miles, you're so good at this.
You're so good.
That's very nice.
Oh my god.
Well, it's funny because I also feel like a lot of people are calling about the same things. So it's like, oh yeah, well, like it all sort of applies.
Do you think this has helped you? Do you think this has helped you in your own situations sometimes? Like
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because actually, I've been talking to friends about situations, and that have been like, actually, what would I do if you called into the show and I was being objective about your situation? And the answer is actually usually different.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The philosophy of the show tends to be take a deep breath. I would say that that's like a solve for most calls. It's like, take a deep breath. Like for this example, it's like, take a deep breath.
Yes.
No one owes each other anything,
Yeah.
but realize that you need to know your worth. And I think that the element of you don't need to tell people when they're wronging you if you don't want something from them anymore. I think that's true for a lot of situations.
So
it's
true.
like, oh, my ex did this shitty thing and they suck, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to confront them. And it's like, well, you know that they suck. There's no need for you to tell them that they suck. Like that's just going to not really make you feel better.
Yep.
It's because even when it's contentious, you're still connected to them in that way.
Yep.
Right,
and that's why you want to hold on to it, even though it's
like someone having power over.
horrible.
Yes, I'm working on forgiveness right now with towards my ex with my therapist right now.
The word of the day, forgiveness.
Yes, because it's like it takes your power back. It's all about taking your power. It's not about like letting them off the hook, but it's like he's not in my life anymore. But like now I take taking the power back.
This is making me rethink my friendship breakup. I'm like, shit, maybe I.
Well, that's the other thing.
You should have called into the show.
Yeah, no, friendship breaks
Where
over.
were you last year?
Yeah. And also it's fun. It's so funny because like I feel like even before this podcast, like you're such a. I feel like we would. I feel like even when we first met, like I went to you for advice a lot. Like I would go into you and when Kendall was living there, you, Sarah, and Kendall, I'd walk in and be like, I have a problem. And Miles would be like, what's your problem? I'd be like, here's my problem. And then you'd give a very good objective.
Well,
and
it's
the guy's perspective too, which is
right.
helpful.
I mean, I think it's also just like, I don't know. That's one of the reasons I love doing the show is it's so fun to hear people's problems and realize that like most people are the same. Yeah. And the good faith, bad faith thing, I think is also like a really good thing to consider. It's like, like me and this person who I love are at odds with each other. And it's like, is your interpretation of what they're doing because you think that they're trying to sabotage you?
Right.
Or is it because, it's like people never think that they're the villain.
Yes.
So their behavior is not really dictated by like, oh, they tried to do something mean. And it's like, they didn't try. They're just probably their insecurity or whatever.
Yes, that's what's so fast. I mean, even because we've been doing all these shows, recapping all these shows. And there are like also similar situations like brought up also like villains and heroes it's like the difference between a villain and hero. Like no one, like the villains don't think they're like the villains. Like even like The Last of Us, like apocalyptic.
Oh no, it's like they're doing what they think is right.
So just bringing it back around to
The Last of Us, HBO LAX. Check them out on every podcast app. We've got one last call here.
Hey, Miles. Basically, I was given a mission to find and dispose of hidden sex toys in an 86-year-old woman's house. I would love help navigating how to do this. Please call me back. Love you, Miles. Bye.
Relaxing is literally something that's built into my bones. It's something that I like to do on the nightly. And when I need a little relaxation assistance, I'm turning to Diet Smoke to give me that stony baloney without making me too high. I've been working with Diet Smoke for a while now. Diet Smoke is known for their premium THC gummies, all derived from 100% American-grown hemp. With Diet Smoke's vast collection, you can be confident there's a perfect gummy waiting just for you. And with every product third-party lab test accessible via QR code on each page, you know you're only getting the best. And Diet Smoke cares about their customers, baby. So much so that if you're not completely satisfied with your experience, they have a money-back guarantee. Now, for all the perfect person stoners out there, you can go to dietsmoke.com and use code PERFECT for 15% off your entire purchase. And if you're on the fence about what to try first, Diet Smoke will let you try their gummies for free. Yeah. Sorry. You're thinking, I don't actually know if I heard that right. You did. Just head over to dietsmoke.com/free and use code FREE4 at checkout. That's the word free and the number 4. You just need to pay $1 for shipping and you are good to go, baby. Let yourself enjoy something nice and sweet with a Diet Smoke gummy that's going to make you feel stoned. And the cool thing is that this is federally legal, so if you're interested in trying it and you're in an area where you've never tried it before, you can rest easy, baby, and have a little gummy. Remember, you must be 21 or older to purchase. Enjoy responsibly. Just like arriving to the buffet and they're out of lo mein. Vitamin labels can be disappointing. Misleading labels, questionable ingredients, sugary formulas. That's a pass from me if I ever heard one. But then guess what? Ritual. Made for skeptics by skeptics with their multivitamin for women. What you see is what you get, and what you get is that good. I've been taking Ritual for a while now. I usually take it because I know that I'm going to have a wild day where I'm probably only going to have a scone and some sloppy joes. And I want to make sure I'm getting all the multivitamins and nutrients that I'm going to need. And so that's why I take the Essential for Men 18 and over. It's a nice little product. I like the branding and I like the little capsules. They've got this like minty flavoring to them so they don't taste weirdly like medicine. Ritual's Essential for Women 18 and over is one of the few women's multis that's USP verified, meaning what's on the label is what's in the formula. It's also soy-free, gluten-free, vegan-friendly, and formulated without GMOs. I'm not healthy every day, and I'm here to tell you that, but I do know that when I take the multivitamin, I make healthier decisions for the rest of the day because I gave myself a little healthy confidence boost. And for that, Ritual's my friend. No more shady business. Ritual is Essential for Women 18 Plus is a multivitamin you can actually trust. Ritual is offering my listeners 20% off during your first month. Visit ritual.com/perfectperson to start Ritual or add Essential for Women 18 Plus to your subscription today. What could that possibly mean?
So my guess is that this person died, 86-year-old woman died, and she had a closet full of sex stuff, a BDSM, and she left in the letter, she's like, please get rid of this.
Before my family comes.
Yes, before my family comes, get rid of all of the sex stuff so they don't know what a cool old lady I was.
Oh my God, that's so interesting.
That's my guess.
I know, yeah, I think that's probably on the money.
No.
Hello.
Hi.
You called perfect person, and you're disposing of sex toys in an old lady's home.
Oh my God, I am. Yes.
Wait, so I'm here with Katherine, Dudas, and Lizzy Pace. I'm gonna need some more context into why and how.
Yes,
that is fair. So it starts with like a little bit of a sad story. My boyfriend's mom recently passed away.
Okay.
And she used to live with her mother, my boyfriend's grandmother. And her old boyfriend called me, and I guess she used to be terrified of her mother possibly finding out that she had sex toys in the house. So he said he's not allowed in the house, so he wants me to go snooping in the house while the grandmother's there all the time and try to find these and get rid of them without her finding them. So if you guys could help me, that'd be great.
So the 86-year-old woman is the grandmother.
Right.
And I'm sorry about your boyfriend's mother passing away. That's very sad. And you're doing valiant work here to preserve her legacy.
This is good.
Her dying wish.
Yes, this is important.
Wish. This is fantastic. So, okay, got it. So you have to go in there undercover and try to find the dildos, find the vibrators so that her mom doesn't realize that she loves to get down and that she was cool.
Exactly.
Does the grandma know who you are?
Yes,
Okay,
I've been with my boyfriend for like 6 years.
Okay.
So we
you
have
can't
a pretty
just put a
good
mustache
relationship.
on
Yeah.
and go in. She would recognize you.
Yeah, I think she might be able to recognize me.
Well, you show a big mustache.
What about a big one? Do we know how many sex toys there are?
I heard it's a box.
I love this.
This is amazing.
Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cry, weep, and scream. People do not question someone who is frantic and crazy. Okay? If you go and you go, I just want to find something that means something to me.
Yeah.
And she's going to be like,
Brilliant.
okay, fucking go do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
The more emotional you make this, the more weirded out the grandmother's going to be. And then you're fucking making out like Ocean's 11, except for instead of cash, it's dildos. I have a feeling that probably the box is going to be easy to find.
It has
It's
to
going
be,
to
right?
be next to the bed.
Yeah, right?
It has to be.
Well, yeah. Where would you hide a box of dildos?
In the wall.
I was honestly the wall.
If I had
thinking.
one, it would be next to the bed.
Yes, it would be. Hypothetically.
No, well, yeah, it's got to be near the bed. Clearly,
They would be
right?
hanging on hooks around the
Or
room.
Pins like art.
Pins like
you want to check a basement or a closet.
Basement dildo just feels like we shouldn't be keeping. We shouldn't be keeping dildos.
Maybe
in the
that's
basement.
her special place away from the grandma, though.
Oh, you think she's got sort of a dungeon?
You know, some of them can be loud.
Sex
You want it
dungeon
to
in
be
my grandma's
distant.
house.
That's the title of the app.
I mean, I know, truly. But I think that, I would say though, like, what's your cover story? Now, can you go? Oh, because you can't go
You need a
with your
suitcase.
boyfriend because he doesn't want to look for his mom's dildos.
No, I didn't think about that.
That makes so much sense. Okay. He's like, that is not what I think about. My mother just died. I can't possibly think about her dildo collection.
This would be such a funny scene in a movie. And you're just yelling at him. You're like, come on, this is your mom's dying wish. You're being selfish.
Yeah,
your
you're
mother
being
was more than your
selfish.
mother. She was a sexual being.
And that's beautiful.
That's amazing.
Is your boyfriend aware that this is happening at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, can you help me? Like, do it. He's like, I don't want to be part of it.
No, he distracts the grandma.
He said he'll be the
brings
getaway
over
driver.
bingo.
He'll be the getaway driver.
He brings over bingo. You pretend to break the downstairs toilet. You go upstairs. You've got
I took a
big
shit.
bag.
I took a big shit.
I need the upstairs toilet immediately.
Yeah, you should. It should be. We got to get the grandma out of the house. That is the first thing. And then you say, metal
detector.
Metal.
Metal? Are they metal?
A metal dildo.
Oh my God.
Metal
Cold.
dildo.
You
Cold
know,
dildo.
there's electronics involved. There's got to be some metal.
You're right. A battery
I think
or so.
I think that here, it's going to be your friend to get your boyfriend to take grandma to freaking tea or to a movie.
TGI Friday.
Grandma,
yes.
we're going to go to a movie. And then you are in the place and you just go, I just want to look for a keepsake.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's how you sort of get it done. Or you can be like, my boyfriend's too emotional to really look around this room.
Oh, do you film? Do you ever film comedy videos or sketches? Because you can be like, I'm filming a TikTok or a sketch. I need this house for. That's what I need. This house
Grandma's going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
She's like, you're a doctor.
I was in World War II. What's TikTok?
Yeah, because you're like, oh, I need the room for the background. That's what I would do. I'd be like, I need it at your house for to film, and you can leave. But then you have to do a sketch. Then you have to show. She's gonna be, what's the sketch? I want to see the sketch.
A lot of hoops.
She's gonna want to see the sketch.
She's gonna want to see
I have
the
a
sketch.
couple notes.
A couple notes. Yeah, she gives notes.
You bring a backpack. You guys are doing study date with the grandma.
Yeah.
And then
you slip off to the bedroom.
You
How
clog
close?
that toilet. I'm telling you, the bathroom is the key to these dildos.
How close is the mother's bedroom to the grandma's space?
It is directly downstairs beneath the grandma's room.
Oh.
Like,
risky.
grandma's room is on the second floor, and then mom's room is on the first floor underneath. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Risque.
Yeah. I think that what you're going to want to do is either get the grandma out of the house. If she doesn't get out of the house, just have your boyfriend hang out with her and be like, hey, he asked that I go try to find this locket.
Yes, locket.
Yeah.
Locket's not sexual.
Something that he
Grandmas will know what that is.
Yeah, locket. And she'd be like, what's in the box that you're carrying out of the room? And you're going to be like, it's actually clothes. She's like, well, can I see? I want to check it out. Yeah, I think that probably you just have to distract. But again, like making it something like, I just miss her so much.
I just miss her. Yeah, I do like this. The crying thing is a good idea. Maybe you're like, I have my period, something.
Oh my God, your period.
I love what this turned into.
I
Clog the
can't-
toilet.
Clog the
I have my
toilet.
period.
Yeah.
You gotta go, period. And
Yeah.
you'd be like, remember back when you had it? This is just what we do now. The kids, like you diva cup, and then she'd be like, I don't want to deal with that.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think the crying is important. I think you do that regardless of any of these plans. You should be
Please.
crying.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah.
And no one wants to deal with a crying person.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, I think that you got to lead with emotion, and this is honestly the Lord's work that you're doing.
It is really beautiful you're doing this.
Preserving the legacy to
Yes.
the grandma. Grandma probably should not. I mean, grandma's getting up there too. The
Yeah.
shock might put her down
Yes.
of
Also,
seeing a big box of dildos.
you know, or if everything goes wrong and the grandma sees the dildos.
They're mine.
Exactly. Yeah. You
gotta
could
take
take
the
one for the
fall.
team, or
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta be like, they're mine, or so we had a robber break in and leave.
This is so weird.
And leave all these dildos. This deviant robber
I know the robber was
just came everywhere.
some sort of cum. The robber was a sexual deviant.
Yes, and you know, but if you do take it for the team, I do think up wherever she is right now, wherever your boyfriend's mom is, she will smile down. She will be really. I think this will give you good karma.
Yeah.
I think.
I would
if
say
anything.
delete the internet history too, but I don't think grandma's going
Yeah,
through that.
Grandma doesn't know how to use Chrome.
Yeah, grandma doesn't know how to do that.
Well, thank you for calling in. What a valiant quest that you have to go on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you so much for the advice.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Oh,
happy,
good luck.
happy to give it. And good luck out there.
Sorry for your loss.
Sorry for your loss.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. And I love your show. Thank you for starting this podcast. It helps me through my week every week. You guys seriously are the best. I appreciate you so much, Miles.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you for listening. That's very generous. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Have a great night. Bye.
Of course. You too. Bye.
this is why I read the comments, because they're so nice.
Yeah, I
you
do
have
too.
lovely listeners.
No. They're all wonderful.
They're so
nice.
sweet.
Oh, very sweet.
And this is why when Sarah started dating Miles, it was like a problem because it's like, oh, you raised the bar.
I know.
I know. Lizzy says
Now
that this
who's
is
going to
very
find their
nice.
Miles?
Yes, that's what we say now. They're like, that, yeah.
I
Don't settle
tried.
for less than a mile.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried.
This-
I try to
that's-
be a sweetie.
Try to
You're
be
a sweetie.
such a sweetie. So nice.
Well, that brings us to our final segment, a segment we like
I
to
love
call
this.
Get Real.
I love this.
This is the segment where
Boy,
we
this makes me laugh
force
every time.
we force a genuine moment in an effort to
Okay.
learn more about each other and ourselves. And I was wondering, I mean, we've honestly gotten pretty real. We've talked
Yeah.
about what we're talking about in therapy,
Thank you.
all that stuff. But you're two friends who I think are doing amazing work out there. And I'm very proud of you, Katherine. You're a fantastic director. Your first movie just came out relatively recently. People loved it. And I think it's like a real stunning achievement. And Lizzy, your podcast, like you've been able to work for yourself. You're an amazing writer, obviously, but you've sort of created this career for yourself.
Empire.
And I was wondering, do you feel, and I feel the
Thanks,
same way, where
Miles.
do you feel like you are successful? Because in my eyes, you are. And I think that sometimes with our friends, I mean, everyone's striving for more and whatever. But do you feel successful? And if not, what will make you feel that way in your
Wow,
eyes?
what an amazing question. I will say for most of my 20s, and we can all relate to this, and I'm 30 now, it was just this, it was this constant, all I wanted was to be successful. Like for all my time in New York, for like 6 or 7 years, all I did was work, all I did was make content and like try to, and nothing happened. Like everything rejected. I applied I made these short films and nothing happened. So when something happened with Juniper, it just felt, honestly, I took a breath. Like it was like for the first time, I love it. But it allowed me to take a breath. I don't feel like there's so much I want to do, but it just was just after so many years, and this is helpful for other creatives out there. After so many years, it's like of nothing, of the only validation you're getting is like a couple likes on Instagram, your Instagram video.
Totally.
Like to like, Showtime being like, we like this enough to buy it. That was just like a mind blowing, and it's a very near and dear to my heart. Like I feel very lucky that the thing that got me the quote unquote first successful thing. And I do say it is the first successful thing. And hopefully not the last, but I had to, at that point, the art mattered more to me than this. I had to get to a point, otherwise you're going to die, where you go, the art's more important than the success. Otherwise you can't. It's just like, and I say this all the time, if you're an artist, you have no choice. You have to do your art. You have to figure it out. So for a while, like the art was more important. So we made this beautiful thing and now it's out. But now it's just cherry on top. But I will say it helps a lot. Yeah. For my sanity, for my calmness, like now I can think about the projects I want to create and I can think a little bit more like, okay, I don't feel this like, because for all my 20s, I was like, gotta be successful. And so now I feel a little bit more like something happened.
Well, I think it's also, as you were working on Juniper, I felt like what you were doing was very brave because you had obviously, like, you directed a short and you've done some smaller, like smaller things, but this was like, on scale wise, the bigger thing. And I just felt like it was very brave of you to take that on. And obviously, like, you were right. You were just like, no, I can do this. I'm going to crush it. And then you did. And I just think that that's a lesson in being like, you obviously were ready for that challenge and you met it with confidence.
That's so nice. And it reminds me that I was only ready because I did 100 small things. Yeah, so I will say, if anyone who wants to direct feature films or direct things, like, making like a TikTok a day for a couple weeks, matters, that is helping you. Like story, editing, whatever, like I feel like you would say the same. I can't wait for. I know you made something.
Yeah, I made a short.
Okay, I don't want to if it was a secret, but which I can't wait to see, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing because all of this content you've made, all of the things like think about us 5 years ago. Like I look at shorts I made 5 years ago, and I'm like fuck, blah. And now I'm like, it's because it's all those small things. So it's like, even if you think like a little Instagram video isn't a lot, it's a lot. Like
no, it is.
I feel like you guys are both like go-getters in that way. Like there's so many people trying to do what both of you have been able to do, but people don't put in the work, and you guys are go-getters and put in the work, and that's something I'm trying to do. I think my problem is I do feel successful, and I would say I gotta get a notch on the ambition. Need to up the ambition a little bit more to like keep going. Like, you need some new goals.
You now, like, you work for yourself. You met what you were trying to do, and so you
have a book. She wrote a book, How to Win the Bachelor.
You wrote a book.
Well, you're a fucking author.
You wrote a book. I mean, part of it though is like Katherine and I started this podcast, and now I'm like getting that creative like chutzpah again. I'm excited, and also Katherine is just like the most delightful person to work with.
And Katherine's also like one of the more productive people that I know. Where
super
you're
productive.
Always working on something. You're always moving the like. If there's like a bar graph of percentage done every day, you're like, we're gonna get one. At the very least, at the end of the day, we're gonna get 1% of this additionally done.
I feel very grateful to be surrounded by these
You're a Virgo, I'm a Virgo
talents.
rising. It's the Capricorn. I think, I'm very lucky.
I'm a Taurus. We stay in bed and we're very happy to eat and watch Love Island.
I do think though, I feel lucky in that my anxiety and depression makes me do things, but I know other people's anxiety and depression makes them freeze. So honestly, it was just luck of the draw.
I think I probably just have to change the meds.
It's just,
that's all.
No, that's interesting you say that. I actually feel the same way where, my like neuroses and stuff makes me like, it makes me go. It makes me move.
Look at what you've created, Miles.
Yes.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
I mean, also, I'm only successful because of Miles, because he told me to start a Patreon. And that's my whole income now. Like, it's crazy. Thank you.
Wait, that is so funny.
I do remember that call, and I'm so glad
like, what's Patreon? I didn't even know.
I'm so glad that it's worked out for you, because you obviously deserve it. But
it's so, and I will say, like, it's seeing both of yours projects, things grow has been. Oh my God, it's like heroin seeing people who, start with like not a lot and then they grow it. Like you both grew something huge. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like your thing started with
it is crazy.
It's crazy and it's crazy to watch it, and you're like, and it also makes me more like, oh, like so many things are possible, and like just because something isn't successful in the first couple months, I remember you being like, oh my gosh, like we're not getting enough listeners and stuff in the first like year, and then by year 2 it's like skyrocket. You're having a bachelorette just where you just interviewed with Katie Thurston. Like you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. They like
we
listen
got
to
Katie.
Bachelorettes
we got
listen
Peter
to your
Weber.
podcast. Yeah.
Game of Roses.
I think about that all the time where consistent, and a lot of big creators say this too. They're just like, Eric, actually, a friend of ours who's been on the show a bunch, he's just like, look, he's been doing content for a decade. And he was early on YouTube, and he's been doing it for a decade. And he was just like, you know, like I've been doing this the same way forever, and viewership comes and goes and comes and goes. If you just keep doing it, it'll have waves. And like
Chad says, my co-host, he says, all you have to do to be successful is confidence and volume, like output.
Completely agree. Like, just keep doing it.
It's true.
Because I think that, like, for a lot of people, and I've had friends where I'm like, oh, like, they'll start making something, and I'll be like, oh, interesting. Like, I don't quite get it quite yet. And then they will continue to do it and continue to do it. And then it's like, whoa.
Yep.
It is now huge and so good because what they were doing is practicing.
Yes.
And it looks like what they're doing is publishing, but it's like, no, they're getting better and better.
Yes.
And the consistency makes people, you know, want to watch.
And I will say sometimes it's hard to fight against the cringe of posting, but
it can be cringe to post.
But just know. And I feel like I want to say this to everyone, like anytime, because sometimes I'll post in stories and be like, oh, that was stupid. But I'm just so happy other people post. Like anytime I see someone else post, I'm happy to see it. So it's like, you gotta think it's like the same way. Like I think that's what stops people is this fear of like, everyone's gonna think I'm cringe. It's like, no one cares. We just want content.
And also,
if you're under the age of 25, break up with your partner.
That's the
your brain is not fully formed
also
yet.
important, yeah.
You're gonna change.
I do give that advice typically.
Spending so much time.
That
was I spent so much time worrying I wasn't gonna find my perfect person.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, no.
So
it can be cringe to post, but I think it is just like you have to. Somebody will always be able to think that you're weird or lame or cringe or whatever
because they think that. But I actually asked
your best friend might be commenting cringe on your videos.
Yeah, right.
Power through.
Exactly.
I remember I actually asked Eric recently at the park crawl. I was like, how do you, can you give me some advice on like, cause we just started and like, we're starting to get like most of our reviews are amazing and lovely. And we'll get one or two that are like mean cause that's the internet, but I'm not used to it. You're used to it. Like you guys are a little more used to it. And Eric's
I'm not used to it. I just don't even look at any of it.
Yeah.
I get
it's it can be traumatizing.
Yeah.
And so he gave really good advice. He's just like, he's like, oh, I don't care at all anymore. He's like, oh my God.
He's also like superhuman in that nothing really affects him.
He's like, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
He's just like, I don't care. Like, who cares? I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And like people will like it or not like it, but who gives a shit?
And he has the right attitude of like it doesn't matter, like there's always gonna be people because we've talked about this when our favorite podcasters say like they get bad comments, I'm like I'll kill whoever said anything bad about you.
It's also just like if you focus on the like it's all noise. And I think that the hard part about content creation is like to be stable making content, especially when it's going well, you have to know that even the people that love for you and would die for you, they also don't know you.
Yes.
And the people who are saying that they would kill you and they hate you, they also don't know you.
Yes, that's a
And in the
good
middle,
point.
like the people who are probably doing the more stable enjoying of your content are like,
stable.
It's like, I like like a lot of podcasts. It's like, I wouldn't necessarily comment on some of the podcasts, but it's like, I love them and whatever. And it's like both ends of the spectrum. You just have to narrow in the bell curve of like, oh, this is like what I should trust.
Right. No, that is so
I heard
smart.
the thing about you shouldn't take advice from someone that you wouldn't go to for advice in that area.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Like if you wouldn't, maybe you go to your mom for like marriage advice, but you don't go to her for whatever.
Career advice about
TikTok advice. My mom has never seen, like, doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have to keep that in mind constantly. Like, this random person on the internet is not who I would go to ask, like, what do you think of my podcast? So I need to not internalize that. But for me, I just am not at the point where I can read it. Without it ruining my week.
No.
Like I still remember some of the bad comments I've read from years ago, and it's they stay with you, Katherine. That's all.
She's trying to protect.
I know you have to learn it yourself. You just have to read that one. That's gonna.
I know, but it's true.
Zach also from the Try Guys told he was like saying because he obviously has done a million things that he has a million comments, and he was just being like. The positive comments versus the negative comments, it's like 100 to 1.
Yeah.
Like one negative comment affects you as much as 100 positive comments. And you'll scroll by the positive comments to find the negative ones. And it's like, why did I do that?
It's like why?
Why did I
why do I think that person's more correct? Like and I did see a brain. That's like something just our brains do. Like we but we want to do. But I also don't want to not. At the end of our podcast, I'll read like a 5-star review, which I know is playing with fire. But I also want to thank the people leaving 5. I'm like, they took time out. And I want to remind myself.
And like
people
this,
like
share this video with a friend.
Yes.
Share Perfect Person because Miles is a certified sweetie.
Thank you, certified
IRL,
and it helps.
Well, thank you for joining the show.
Thank you for
having us. Thank you, Catherine, for
where can people find you on social media?
Well, you can find us at HBO LAX Pod.
HBO LAX Pod. Or I'm at Pace Case.
I'm at Katherine Dudas _ because I guess there's already a Katherine Dudas.
But we're doing The Bear.
And we're doing The Bear.
On Hulu, season 2, starting next week.
Is season 2 come out next week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Catch up on season 1.
Yes.
It is sexy as hell.
It's so sexy. It's a fun, and then listen along and then you can, it's a really fun time. We have so much fun on HBO LAX. It's like my favorite time of the week.
Best.
Check out HBO LAX, check out Juniper, check out Game of Roses.
Thanks,
and until next time, if you're out there and you're struggling, just know that no matter where you are, what you're doing, perfection is only a call away.
That was a Headgum podcast.